It's been a great hunting year, and today we're going to tell you the story of how we got this elk. Hi everybody, this is Laura and Jerry with Lonely Pines Farm. It's been a banner year this year because for the first time in probably 6 or 7 years, we got an elk.
Yeah, we did.
Very exciting. Yeah, it's been, Jerry, you got one, what was that, 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
I think it's about 5 or 6 years. She's exaggerating.
We've been dating for 5, and we've not gotten one in that time, so.
4.5.
I'll allow it.
You should have put a ring on it.
You will put a ring on it.
I will. Anyways,
yes, and I have been hunting with him for probably 4 or 5 years of those 5 years. But anyway, it's been a long time is the bottom line.
It's been a very long time. Some of you guys might know this is the first elk hunting trip without my dad. And it really felt like he was there. The way everything transpired was just crazy, to say the least. It was pretty miraculous, all things considered.
Yeah.
And what else are we doing today?
We're also announcing the winner of the giveaway.
Woo! Somebody made some money.
Yes, somebody's going to be getting a prize here, but we're going to save that until the end, so you have to stick around.
And we'll keep it short, I promise. 1 minute. Well,
but the reason we wanted to tell you about it is because it's the most ridiculous story ever. It's not just like we crested a hill and there was an elk and we shot it. It's like a really good story.
It's a pretty good story.
Thought I'd bring him along. He's a pretty good storyteller.
No pressure. Okay, so here it goes. So the night before, we were driving home in the dark and got a flat tire on a Forest Service road. Had to stop below freezing temperatures, change the tire in the dark. Of course, we had some headlamps and stuff like that. We're pretty good at it because it happened to us the year before. So it went smoothly, but that starts the entire process of how this all went down. We get the flat tire, we fix it, we go back to camp, do our thing, go to bed. The next morning we go out and hunt, come back early because we know we have to go to town, get the flat tire fixed so that we have a spare if it happens again, because our luck is really, really bad apparently with tires. So we go to town, and of course there's a wait, and we run some errands around town. Finally the tire's fixed. Get back up to the woods, and turns out we've only got a couple of hours left. And in our area, we like to drive to a particular spot, one of many, and take off walking. And we hike back 1 mile, 2 miles, whatever. But we didn't have the time tonight, so we were just thinking we're just going to road drive. So we get going, and as we're going, we decide let's go someplace where we can walk and get off the road. And as we're thinking that, this guy comes barreling around the corner behind us, and I turned to Laura and I said, all right, we're going to let him go by, and if he takes the high road, we're going to take the low road, and if he takes the low road, we're going to take the high road. So we pull over, he takes the high road, and we take the low road, and it just happens to be the same road that I just said half an hour before. I'm really not feeling that road because I'm just kind of tired of it. So down we go. And we get to one of our favorite spots. We pull over, we get geared up, and start walking in. And about 3/4 of the way in, we spook a grouse. And if you guys don't know what a grouse is, it's also known as a prairie chicken or a thunder chicken. The point is, it's a chicken-sized wild hen, and it will basically just sit there until you step on it, and then it will take off and sound like 100 geese taking off all at the same time.
Scares me every time.
They're really loud. So it scared the crap out of us. And of course we're looking all around. Can't see him or anything. It was in the timber.
It's huntable game too. I've done very well the last year with rabbit and grouse. So I was immediately thinking here, I haven't gotten any small game all season. I'm thinking this is our chance. We can finally shoot something.
Grouse for dinner.
Exactly.
Heck
so
yeah.
We were bummed that he flew off, looking everywhere for him.
Right. And we took like 2 steps. And this tree about 30 feet up in front of us just exploded. There were like 4 or 5 more grouse roosting in it, and they all took off going all sorts of different directions. And of course, a flying shot with the 22 rifle is not a good thing to take, so we didn't get a shot at any of those, which now Laura was really bummed.
Yeah.
So 2 of them went the way we wanted to go, so we decided we'd go after those 2. Worth pointing out, this is day 4 of our hunting trip, and we have not seen an elk yet. So grouse is high on the list of things to go after right now.
Something.
So we hike up, always looking for these grouse, a little bit looking for elk, but not feeling real good because it's getting towards the end of the evening, and it's just been a messed up day with the tire and driving to town and everything else. So we creep up over the top of a ridge, and every couple of steps we stop and peek over the top, and nothing. And down, and a couple more steps, and every time you get a little closer to the top, you can see a little bit more, right? So finally one time we do that, and I'm able to start really looking around, and I look off into the distance, and about 200 yards away there's obviously an elk. It's just glowing blonde fur down in the forest. So immediately I'm like, elk, elk! And so we both freeze, get the binos up, and we're looking at this elk. It turns out it's a big bull. It's a raghorn bull. It's a 4x4, but in our area we can only shoot spikes, so no go for us. And we immediately start looking for other elk because they don't usually travel alone. So we're looking and looking. Probably spent 5, maybe 10 minutes watching that bull. Nothing else around. And all of a sudden, Laura says,
"There's a deer."
And sure enough, while we're sitting there watching the elk, a doe walks in.
Yeah, she just bounded up the hill and into the frame. I was like, elk, wait, no, that's not an elk, that's a deer. And yeah, she just came feeding in towards the clearing, sort of right at us. And it's one of the closest times that I've been to an animal. I've been not terribly lucky in terms of being out of a car and being near big game. So it's a very thrilling moment. She came over the hill, and then I think another doe came over the hill. And then some twin fawns came over the hill.
It was a parade, you guys. There were deer just coming in left and right, seemed like. And this whole time, this elk is feeding 200 yards away.
He's raking stuff.
Yeah, he was raking his antlers in the dirt and the trees and stuff, still a little ruddy. So by this time, there's 4 deer in the valley. And all of a sudden, a buck comes out. And it's a shooter buck. In our area, it's a 3-pointer better. Unfortunately, it's not deer season, so there's nothing we can do about it except look and admire and dream. And this whole time, these deer are getting closer and closer to us. And the lead doe, she has made us by this time. We're standing in the trail. We're not surrounded by brush or trees or anything. And she has just given us the stare down. She's stomping. She's starting to snort. She's getting very nervous. And so the entire time we're figuring she's just going to blow out of there anytime and take everybody with her, but she doesn't. She just hangs out and keeps giving us the what for about being in her area. So by this time she's probably made it to within 30 feet.
Yeah,
probably
very
25 or 30
close.
feet. She's very, very close. And the other doe has meandered up the hill. There's 2 fawns in the area. There's this little shooter buck. And all of a sudden I'm just panning back to where all these deer are coming from. And here comes another deer. And he steps out, and it's a beautiful 4x4 buck. And that has been my, I don't know, Achilles heel or my
unicorn.
My unicorn. A big buck. So my heart's just pounding. And I'm looking at him, and as soon as I realize it, I said, buck. And Laura says,
elk. I never saw him because right at the exact same moment I saw movement behind him, and there were elk coming up, so the deer going this way and the big bull's down there, and then coming up the ridge this way right at us is a bunch of elk. I saw a cow, and we were frozen with our binos, just holding them, waiting for the deer to go by, and I just ever so slowly, I'm like, I gotta get him up. But got the binos up, and it was immediately a cow that was like locked on us. And then behind that, I was like, so I'm just start rattling. I'm trying to get better about being able to call stuff out to him, since he had the rifle, about what animals we're seeing, what direction they're looking, being able to, how far away are they? So I'm like, the cow's locked on us, and there's another cow, and then right behind it, spike. There was a spike. He looked like a spike, from straight on 2 points up, and immediately I'm like, and I can't see him anymore because I'm shaking so hard.
buck fever struck.
Oh my goodness, it was real. It was real. I was like, it's a spike. I think it's a spike. I need to get a look from the side to be sure, and he's moving this way and that way. And I saw one little point coming off of one of his spikes. So I'm like, okay, at least one side's a 2x. And at that point, Jerry's heart kind of sinks.
Yep. 2 points are no good.
Yeah, so he assumes it's a 2x2 or a 2x3 or not a shooter. And
So I can't see it. I'm standing off to her right, probably 5 feet, and I cannot see any of these elk, actually. So I'm still looking at the buck and having a good time doing it. It was a beautiful deer. And they're all funneling through the valley now. The big buck is even in front of us. All the deer are still there. The doe is still snorting at us. Now she's really stomping. The big bull hasn't even looked up. In fact, he's now worked his way out of frame. And the cows and the spike are there, and we can't move. There's nothing we can do because the deer have us pegged. And if we start moving in position to get a shot at the elk, then the deer are going to blow out. And when they blow out, they'll take everything in the valley with them because everybody trusts everybody in that situation. So. By the way, it's like 25 degrees and it is freezing cold now, and I am shaking like a leaf. So I cannot see these animals. And so I told Laura, I said, I'm going to move and we're just going to have to deal with the deer. And it's been 10 minutes of, I can't move, they have to leave, they've got to leave. Yeah. And we're going to run out of light and this elk is going to move and I'm never going to get a shot. So started creeping in front of her, and I probably slid 10 feet to her left to get a rest, because the first time that I pulled the rifle up, I was like this. I was so cold and so excited by that legal bull being in there finally that I could not take a shot if I wanted to. So I told her, I gotta move. And so I did, and moved over to a tree, and that tree put the bull behind a little clump of trees and some brush in the distance. This is all about 175 yards away that it's happening. So again, Laura can see everything that's going on, and I still can't see anything. So at this point, she's telling me he's feeding left.
He's under the yellow tree. He's feeding left. He's feeding right. All the cows started to go left, and he kind of started to lean that way, and I was afraid he was just going to, bound over the clearing and disappear again. But after a couple turns, I was like, I think he's kind of feeding towards us, because he kept going, all fishy on us.
Right, absolutely.
And then eventually all the cows kind of went left and he went right. And I'm, like I said, I'm trying to get better about explaining it. So I'm like, the cows are left. He's facing right. He's faced right. He's, and then as soon as he quartered away, I was prepared. I was like, okay, if Jerry can see what I can see, then he's going to take this shot very soon. But at this point, we're only kind of muffled, able to hear each other. I'm not sure what he sees. He's, 4 feet to my left, standing right next to his rifle, which wasn't the smartest in terms of sound. And then, I just said, okay, he's all by himself, facing off to the right, and he's quartered away.
And I still couldn't see him, but I had the scope on the area that he was, and a good solid rest on the tree, which made me feel real good. She said he started to feed right and he was going to come out from behind the trees, and sure enough he did. He was facing towards me a little bit, so it wasn't a good shot, and I started to get concerned that he was going to hang a U-turn and get out of there because all the cows had left now. But he slowly started to turn and walk away to the right, and that gave me just a fantastic angle for a going away broadside shot. And had him dead to rights and touched off the shot, and we sealed our elk tag. It was very exciting, an incredible moment. It had to have lasted at least 20 minutes from start to finish. When we first crested the hill and saw the big bull with all the deer in there, the valley was just crazy with life. Everything was alive and moving left and right. We couldn't move, and then we could, and then we just took the bull by the horns, and it turned out good. We got a lot of meat in the freezer to show you guys later.
It was pretty incredible, and it was my first time being there for a big game animal. So I was very proud to be able to help, and we field dressed him, and I was right in there holding legs and things, and called the family and got him out. And
special thanks to all the family that's going to be watching this later. You guys thank you so much for coming in there and helping us drag out. One of my nephews had a wheeled cart, and they actually packed it in, and we were able to get the elk up on it and then wheel it out. And that probably saved us at least an hour, if not 2 hours of dragging. So we had just drug his out the day before, 2 days before.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of guys doing it, and it was nice to have family there. So everybody had a great evening.
We did, yeah. That was also our first time processing our own meat.
Yep, first time processing our own, and again, my nephew and one of his best friends were there, and they had both done it multiple times before. So we used them as our guides, and away we went. And I know for a fact that we got more and better cuts of meat than we ever would have from a butcher. I've gotten elk before, and I've taken them to the butcher, and the amount of meat I've gotten in return always seemed a little bit light, like they didn't do a very good job of trimming. So we really went to town and feel we did really, really well. It filled up our entire freezer. So we've got zero room. It's been a very good year for us.
It has.
We're very, very lucky.
Yeah, very, very thankful for all the meals. We've only really had, last year we did okay with rabbit and grouse, and that was about the only wild game, and we're definitely trying to live more sustainably. We bought our first quarter of beef this year from a local farmer, and now we have a spike elk, and there is optimistically a late modern rifle
Still 4
deer
days
season.
of deer season left.
So we're going to see if we can, and then chickens eventually. It's exciting to start moving in the direction of eating a lot less store-bought and a lot more real meat. So
Yeah.
we even had elk steaks last night, and they were so good.
Ah, so good. So good.
So good.
And if you don't hunt for your own animals, I encourage you to do so. The quality of meat, the freshness, the fact that they have not been penned and shot with all sorts of antibiotics and everything else, the quality of the meat is just extraordinary. If you're against hunting, we can have that conversation someday, another time. Not this video, please.
Or at least buy local from local farmers.
Or at least buy
yeah.
local, support local,
Yeah.
Go organic. It is a little bit more expensive, but man, is it worth it. Man,
It's
totally
so
worth it.
it.
And wild game in particular. So worth it. We actually had back scraps last night, and they were fantastic.
Yes.
And that's another video later, I think.
Or a blog post. Yeah, we'll walk you through the how to process your own meat. So it's not as difficult as you might think.
Right.
From one newbie to another. But yeah, we just we wanted to share our story. It's been a very different year than the past, the whole time we've been together. This has been a banner year. So
Yep, it's been fantastic. We've been super lucky, and we want to pass on that lucky to somebody out there
yeah,
who
winner
entered our giveaway.
Our giveaway, our home, whatever you want to call it, housewarming, new farm giveaway. It's our first giveaway on YouTube. So yeah, I guess now is as good a time as any.
Drum
Winner
roll.
is...
Oh, look at the camera shake.
No, we're losing it.
And end drum roll. Who's the winner, Laura?
All right, so I guess now is as good a time as any to announce the winner of our housewarming new farm giveaway. Very exciting news, and the winner is Shelly!
Shelly Nicholson of New Zealand. How about that, man?
Yeah.
Following us all the way from New Zealand. You are so awesome. Thank you so much for your support. We have
$50. Yeah, we'll reach out to you to see what you're interested in. We can send you a Visa gift card. I don't know. Do they have Amazon in New Zealand? I don't know these things.
Snap!
But either way, we'll reach out to you and get you your prize. And thank you all for your support along the way. There will be many more giveaways to come. Hopefully we'll get a little more elaborate as we get a little more experienced to celebrate all of the milestones on this journey in our new homestead.
Say hi. This is Diesel, by the way, if you haven't seen him yet.
What are you doing, huh? Yeah.
He had a really good time up at elk camp, too. 9 days.
He had such a good time. It was his first time being around another dog. They wore each other out. He was so well behaved. He kept camp safe. Wasn't a huge fan of the gunshots, but kind of got better with it over time. I don't know if he'll ever be right by our side, but you're not a hunting dog. You're a herding dog, aren't you? Yeah.
He's a big baby is what he is. Can you tell? All All right, come on, let's get done.
Anyway, yes.
Anyways,
thank you guys so much for your support. Be sure to like and subscribe the video, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. We're all over the place. So thank you, and I hope you guys have a great day.
happy growing.